And you've always, in all of our conversations, you've always had a really strong pop sensibility in what you enjoy. But how has this project shifted, or maybe even brought things more into focus in how you approach the studio with the Truckers?
Um, I don't know. I don't know if this project has affected that consciously. I'm sure unconsciously, maybe just maybe more comfortable, sort of with piano, adding piano stuff might be a little more comfortable just because it keeps me sort of on, as opposed to other keyboard instruments, it's sort of like it's real piano centric. And so I'm a little more comfortable maybe playing that because that's sort of my weakest point, I think, is my piano playing is kind of like the singer-songwriter-y, hammer out kind of ham-fisted kind of thing, I'm not, but I think it's given me a little more confidence there. But other than that, I don't know. Other than I think it's maybe affected my songwriting more as far as sort of honing in and not being hesitant to sort of write something that's a little less. I've always kind of tried to rock things up a little bit when I could, and make it maybe a little more. I always lean a little more towards sort of power pop kind of stuff and guitar based, and then over the years I've now that the kind of the newest stuff I've written, which hasn't been released, it is definitely more. I wouldn't say it's in this vein. I wouldn't call it even AM Gold necessarily, but it's pretty. There's a lot more piano based stuff, and so it's inevitably going to inform what you do, and that's the upside of it. The only downside of it is keeping me away from sort of maybe writing as much. Just only I should be doing both. I should be doing all three full throttle, but it's like it tends to you have to sort of focus on the main thing you're doing at any given time.
Where are you guys right now? You mentioned earlier about being in the studio. Is there a timeline right now of the next album?
No, not that I know of. No, I mean, I don't know of any actual release time or anything like that. I mean, I think we're going to go in the fall at some point. So it's still kind of up in the air. But we went in and did a few songs, and we played one or two on the new on the last tour and stuff. So, and it was kind of a demos thing, but I think we'll probably, I don't know, it's some of it sounded really good. So in the past we've kept stuff that was supposed to be demos. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again, but I think, we'll go in and they're writing and stuff. So right now I'm sort of, kind of, I don't know, you sort of like, collect like instruments or something, or like try to like figure out like different colors you could bring on the next thing. And so I'm kind of in that mode now, and also trying to wrap up an album I've been working on with my friend Chris for a while. And so so I'm trying to aiming to hopefully have that out maybe by or finish it by the end of the year. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but
well, how's the last year of touring been going? I asked because as someone who's listened to your music for a long time, it's always been political in terms of not outwardly, but almost like metaphorically for a long time. And with the last album, it's more outwardly political. And obviously none of that surprises me as a longtime DBT fan. But I wonder, with the last year of touring, how has that affected what you see from the stage, and also just the band in general? Because it's one of those things where it's become like the platform's being taken a lot more serious lately with the band, at least from my perspective.
Sure. I mean, again, because of the last album was a lot, more straightforward and lyrically. I don't think it's really changed anything other than we've maybe encountered a little bit of blowback with people who were not ready for that, or just were taken aback by it. But that really almost happened more when the album first came out, and now it just seems to sort of I don't know. It's because of the current climate. It seems to really, folks who are there who they seem to know, we're not getting as much of like confused, like what the fuck is this kind of thing. I think because the album's been out a little while, I think like you're saying before, it was a little maybe less, less straightforward, and not obvious, but straightforward, and but now it's like it just seems to. I think people who are coming out kind of know, have heard the album mostly, and so it's like it's almost mobilizing, and hopefully sort of, almost rallying folks to kind of keep going, Well,
I see stuff on forums, and I'm like, people saying, "Oh my goodness, what happened to the truckers?" I'm like, have you not been listening to them for 20 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, inevitably, not everybody are lyric-based listeners, I mean, for me, I'm not generally, I mean, I other than, listening to sort of Randy Newman or Dylan or somebody like that, but I am pretty guilty of sort of like, sometimes I'll learn these songs and I won't know the lyrics until I, print out the lyrics and write the chords down, and then I'm like, oh my God. And, sometimes I'm like, this is amazing, and you appreciate it on a whole new level.
Well, like Steely Dan's a perfect example of a pop song about drug addiction,
Yeah, sure. And it's also, not very laid out. So it's like you have to, a lot of, something like that, you look at it and you read the lyrics and you're like, it's denser, so like information wise. So like sometimes it takes a little bit to, you see that and you're like, oh my God. But so, yeah, it depends,
well, I asked because, when I'm out there in the crowd, one of the immediate focal points has become your keyboard. Mm-hmm. Or your Hammond B3. Cool. Well, I wondered, like, do you become a target because the sign is on your instrument? I mean...
I think so, but I haven't really encountered too much of it. When we first had the sign, and I would go out to bars, I had people come up, and nothing like totally aggro, but just more like passive aggressive, kind of leading into it. But and it was it was always in a weird kind of place, like California, like where I didn't expect it. Where obviously there are areas of California's a big state, and but you always like assume it's going to be somewhere else, and it just goes to show that it's how. I don't know. Everybody everywhere is on different, have different opinions, and I fortunately haven't had any direct real. But it's fine if they think that, it's fine. I mean, I'm 100% into the sign, so it's like I'm proud to have it on there. Yeah. It was a band thing. It was I think we were given it in maybe Rhode Island, and I've had it ever since. Yeah. And, it's, if it upsets someone, I don't understand why they come.
Well, I look at it as but some that shows the inclusiveness of just accepting everybody. That's obviously the point of it. But
well, right, and that's what I think some people don't understand. They see it as exclusive when it's an inclusive thing, I don't tend to do much of the political talking because I leave it to them, because I have, my point of view, and I'm obviously, I'm not very articulate, and as far as politically speaking, but I am glad I can kind of contribute to the band, you know what I mean, and musically, and contribute, and that's in my way, sort of, but yeah, I try not to, it's not that I'm avoiding it. It's just that I'm not.
Well,
I'm
the sign speaks for itself. You don't really need to explain it.
Right. And fortunately, it's like off the record. It's like with radio interviews. Sometimes if I have a mic to sing, I tell I'm like, you're not going to ask me any questions, right? And generally they really nobody was in the first place. One DJ thought it was hilarious and was threatening to ask me all the questions, to fuck with me. But it's not for agreeing. It's just they obviously say it so much better. So, I mean, like I say, we've gotten blowback, but it's become, I think, less of an issue. It's things are so much more sort of horrific
under a microphone or under a microscope,
A microscope, yeah, and so, but yeah, it's yeah, it's some crazy times for sure.
Well, I look forward to the show. It's